welcome to another edition of Cavalier Family, the show. This year, of course, that we're going over is 1990. And first off, I want to apologize about Monday. Uh, Fortunately, I had to go to the emergency room due to some health reasons. Won't go into detail about that, but just so you know, going forward, shows will be on Thursdays now. So, with that in mind, just want to start off the show as always that we are an independent studio, and on the show we'll be discussing live entertainment from the big screen movies down to our little favorite independent films like Velocipaster, TV shows, cartoons, and video games. We'd like to first off thank Kevin Holmes, who did the intro and outro video, along with Justin Dye, who's created many of the musical elements for us, as well as been on the show a couple of weeks ago, who will be on the show in the future as well. And just want to thank them. In addition to any updates, unfortunately, right now there are no updates. Still working on a couple of things, such as websites, stuff like that for merchandise and stuff like that for all of you guys. And as you can see, it's just myself, and then of course my other host, Lee. Lee, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Good, good. Long time no see, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So today's
I
outline,
think it's just life, though. I mean,
yeah,
life in general happens, so that's why it's so important for people to follow us or like our page. So that way we know that, people are entertained to what we do. We do take time out of our personal lives to bring, I would think somewhat of a decent entertainment. Not like those movies that are a one hit wonder and nobody wants to watch them. I mean, crap, come on. Like, support us.
yeah, exactly. And you could do that by following us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, all the social platforms, even Instagram. A lot of it you don't know, but currently, right now, we are not streaming on YouTube. This video will be uploaded later on, only because of the fact that the first show that we did, where we actually showed videos, unfortunately, the live video got taken off because apparently, if you have a big enough stream, whoever you are, you can review live without an issue. But if you're small, like how we are, uh, fortunately, we get flagged. But with that in mind, the video is uploaded. YouTube took off all the notifications and stuff. So to avoid that from happening again, we're going on Facebook and Twitter right now, and it will be uploaded again in the future, probably either tonight or tomorrow. But with that in mind, there are a lot of heavy things that has been circulating the internet, and of course a lot of these things have been out there for a while, though we haven't actually discussed them here. So as of right now, I do know that Lee has yet to see the God of War trailer, right?
Yes, I have not seen that one yet.
Okay, so it's actually God of War Ragnarok. I don't know if you've actually played any of the God of War games in the past.
Yes. But it's been like, ages since then. So,
Okay, did you play the original trilogy or the new ones that are coming up?
I'm gonna blame my forgetfulness on old age right now because I don't remember.
I unfortunately didn't get to enjoy a lot of it. I have always been an Xbox guy, though you specifically did turn me to PlayStation in the very beginning. Since then, been an Xbox. My wife has a PlayStation, so it's best of both worlds. So I'm looking forward to, of course, playing on all platforms now since we do have a Nintendo Switch. We're soon to get the new Xbox and PlayStation, whichever one comes into stock first. So we'll see.
Wait, you're planning on getting the new Xbox or PlayStation?
Both.
Why?
Why? Better
Okay,
graphics.
so for all those people out there, just to break this news, I'm not arguing, the normal why. I'm arguing the fact that just to get this man to play online one time still hasn't happened for over a year. The last game I played with you was The Division, not 2,
Yeah,
1. Division 1.
life, man,
But
life.
you're buying a brand new Xbox and a brand new PlayStation? Last night I even asked you
Yeah,
about like download or purchasing a game. And you're like, "Oh no, man, I've been playing Nintendo Switch."
yeah.
Whatever.
Dude, I've been in quarantine. Like for those of you that don't know, I've had like, two types of infection, been in quarantine. So the only time that I've been able to play is the Switch. So like that's the go-to whenever I'm on break and stuff. So it's like quick,
Likely
easy
excuse
handle.
for a married man.
Well, with that in mind, I know that you haven't seen the trailer, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get set up, so then that way we can go ahead and watch, get your reaction on it, because I mean, I've
Sure.
already seen it. I'm excited for it.
Ooh, I like this part. Sorry.
Time is running out. The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming. My story doesn't end hiding in these woods. I should be out there, finding out who I am, who Loki is.
I will not allow you to pick a fight with gods.
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want answers.
And if those answers lead to war with Asgard,
Maybe that's what Mother wanted.
you do not know what Mother wanted.
Well, I recognize that dour expression anywhere. Odin's got tricks up his sleeve we haven't dared to consider.
What if there was someone who could help us?
You mean Tyr, the old god of war in these lands, who is dead.
Well, for a dead man, Odin seemed pretty keen on seeing he wasn't found.
If he's out there, we gotta find him.
Come in!
What in all yarn speed that happened to him?
We're trying to stop Ragnarok, to help people. And what if the only way to do that is war?
War is not the only way.
Stop thinking like a father for a moment and start thinking like a general.
You seem like a calm and reasonable person. Are you a calm and reasonable person? In moments of crisis, panic does nothing. Harness it. Let it serve you.
Tyr!
Are you coming with us?
You'll get your answers soon enough. Well, some of them.
Okay. I am gonna Google something because. Okay, hold on a second.
So what'd you think?
I like that one. I want to say. Okay, so I guess since I haven't played God of War from 2018, 2022 like trailer to me, I thought I saw it before, but I didn't. I
Yeah.
saw the 2018 trailer. So based off of that, it's hard for me to judge. I mean, it looks good. I'm not gonna lie, it does look very good. But in order to be on PlayStation, I wouldn't buy a PlayStation 4.
Oh, but there's more, my friend. That like the whole PlayStation conference that they had like a month ago or so just laid out so many things. Like I only picked two out of like what they actually have so far. But I'm like really I've been wanting to play God of War for a while, just mainly because of the atmosphere, the graphics, and the gameplay just looks not only fantastic but fun. Like it's always been fun, kind of like a Maximum Overdrive. No, was that no? That's a movie. I'm thinking of Sunset Overdrive. the same creators who did Spider-Man, which is not Neversoft. It's Insomniac who actually did it. So it just looks as fun as Insomniac, though it's not an Insomniac game. And with the whole lore of it being Norwegian mythology, it just that's a realm that I don't know a lot of. Like God of War was all with Greek mythology, which I know a lot of, and this is going into a realm that I'm not familiar with, which is just makes it so much exciting. Plus, not only that, but it also gives people who are not familiar with it, like you have the Marvel movies with Loki, Thor, Odin, everybody there, and it gives off some of the mythology. I feel like it goes a little bit more in depth with the actual game itself because it doesn't have to make it child friendly.
I don't have an opinion. Like, I mean, it's God of War. I mean, I guess I have played more than you have apparently because I know I have played. Um, the last one I played came out in 2012. God of War. It was called the Saga, which included all of them. Actually, I still think
Okay.
I have those for PlayStation 3. Oh my god! Now, see what you're gonna make me do. You're gonna make me want to play that darn game
You are
because I have
welcome.
a PlayStation 3.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, that's not all that's a Sony exclusive either. This one coming up is also a Sony exclusive. It's actually a continuation. The game, there's two games within this world. The first one came out with the PlayStation 4 when it first came out. The most recent one occurred last holiday. So this is the trailer for the next one.
Insomniac Games.
For as long as I can remember, I have looked for an equal. One who could push me. One who could surprise me. One who could even beat me. Yet all I found is disappointment. Will one of you finally give me what I desire? Yes, we will.
Look, I have 2 years to buy a PlayStation.
So I'm just going to let that play in the background because I love that trailer a lot. But I'm super excited about it because I haven't been able to play the Miles Morales one, but um, the whole I guess anticipation of this was Venom, because that's the big thing that a lot of people really wanted in the first game but didn't get. And now you get the black suit, you get to team up with Miles Morales, which happens in the comic books, but what a lot of people don't know is that in the comic books, Miles Morales is actually a different universe than what Peter Parker is. This is a little different because you have Miles Morales and Peter Parker in the same universe. So two Spider-Mans in the same location, which is really interesting. Um, the other thing too is I don't know if you could tell like the voiceover who was doing the voiceover and everything, but it sounds very similar and potentially Craven the Hunter.
Oh, the villain.
Yeah, the villain, the guy who is the
Gotcha.
hunter, and what's that movie where they have it? They just actually remade it. Um, it's something games, and not the Hunger Games, but where a guy goes out and he hunts. Is it the world's most dangerous game?
I have no clue. I'm a
Yeah,
married man. I've been busy. I just have time to play like 10 minutes of a video game, then hit the sack.
like God of War.
Maybe.
but I am super excited about this just because of that. Um,
It
and
does look fun, especially if you can play 2 players side by side. That'd be nice. Because most of those games, like Batman, that everybody has like that loves to death. The one thing that pulled me away was I enjoy playing with like split screen couch gaming. I don't always have to buy online everything. And as you get older and stuff like that, like playing online, you play online for a few people, but that's about it. Like I still play Grounded. Nobody plays that with me. So I play by myself. And thank God it's split screen. Well, sorry. No, that one's not split screen. Is it split screen? I don't remember. I haven't played in a while. No, it's not split screen. They have to play on 2 different TVs.
sorry, I went mute for a second. Apparently, the last time you and I played was a year ago. So, but that's actually not all for the trailers. The next one is actually one that you're very familiar with and apparently excited for.
Back for Blood, maybe? Could it be? It could be.
Just going to pause it really quick because apparently I didn't do a disclosure, which my bad. But this trailer does bring a lot of blood. So if anybody is very, don't like the horror genre or don't like horror games, just either close your eyes on this part, I guess, or, it's only like a minute and a half or 2 minute trailer, but continuation.
We're surviving here. Rebuilding.
Surviving's not enough. We've got to fight.
No, we don't need to do anything. All right, when was the last time you saw written in any numbers?
All of my best friends like to go and get fucked up. And they talk about all the lies they never got to live. They're still waiting for some sort of invitation. Never coming along. Oh no, you get just what you get. Hang in there, Holly. Get high with your best friends. No rest for the wicked.
Let's go.
Through here.
Come on!
God, I love Mondays.
Another day in paradise. Just like on the map.
Home run!
Ain't that a problem? A big problem.
Just like all of my best friends like to go and get fucked up. And they talk about all the lives they never got to live. Get high with your best friend.
Need help here.
Buckle up, buttercups.
We've got one shot. Let's make it count.
Over here!
Yeah.
Okay, so I have done some research on this. This game is on the Microsoft Store right now for $59.99. They do have another version that's $89.99. The $89.99 looks more worth it because you do get some future release stuff like new characters, new weapons, and new I believe it's campaigns or maps or something. So if it's anything like Left 4 Dead, which it does proclaim it is similar to, either it's going to go 2 different ways. The people who are going to buy it is people who have loved Left 4 Dead and been waiting for the 3rd one. And I mean, but what's the repetitive play value of this one? Because now it's not split screen couch. Now it's strictly online, which means if we get 4 people, you have to all have Xbox Live.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it
Yeah.
was one that you can actually do split screen like the old Left 4 Dead.
No, sir. They decided to go single player. I was reading one review on it, and the guy was saying they have a feeling that they went with single player because of the amount of intensity of graphics and the amount of zombies
Mhm.
at any given point, and the amount of movement on the screen. Where a lot of the Xboxes, like the standard Xbox One, wouldn't be able to hold split screen that well. It would lag. But
Makes sense.
don't know if that's true or not. It could have been somebody else's opinion. Um, I mean, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 never lagged for me. When we played
Uh,
split screen.
the second one did a little bit. There's a little bit, I remember playing, and there was some sequences that was lagging a little bit, mainly there was a level in the city that would lag sometimes, but they did the patchwork on that.
I think I know. Are you talking like the one with New Orleans when the plane flies overhead and it goes to bomb?
Yeah, actually, that one. Yes, it is that one.
Because then it does. I when you brought that up, I'm like that is one spot that I do remember now. Old
And
age
then
me.
they
Sorry, I'm going thin, as people can tell. So
well, of course, they did the patch up work too, which is really anything that anyone can ask for. Because Left 4 Dead is an absolute fun, thrilled game. Like it's just
mhm.
nonstop action. Is it scary? Yes and no, I guess. Like it's not scary to the point of like Resident Evil or Silent Hill or any of that. It's scary because it thrives itself on jump scares mostly. It's either jump scares where like you turn a corner and there's like going from Left 4 Dead 2, or I think it was the first one too, like the witch, for an example. Like you hear the cry and then you get that like
Yeah.
fearness in you where you don't want to go to her, you don't want to hit her because once you do, you're fucked, basically. And it's
Unless
like,
you can crown her. I've done that a few times.
yes, you can crown her by, going with the shotgun to the back. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. But if you mess up, then she's going after you, and then
Yeah,
you're
you're screwed
relying
anyway.
on all your team.
So,
Um,
really quick, since we're on Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, I have read and I seen a video, I think it's in the first one, where you're in a warehouse,
mhm,
and outside there's a whole bunch of semis.
mhm,
And then you have to go through like a top window of like this warehouse. Then you're upstairs for a little bit, then you can come downstairs to like a door that kind of opens.
mhm,
Right behind that door, there is a janitor's closet. They said if you do it correctly, and there's a trick to this map where you hear a witch, you can either one, open up the door and find one witch, or two, if you do it correctly, you open up the door and you find 20.
oh, no, no.
Yeah. And I think it's 20, 12, something like that. Like it's in some guy showed a video of like this whole room packed with witches, like that red orb that that a witch is there kind of hint, like the whole room was filled. And I was thinking, you got to be kidding me. And if I remember the video correctly, he did alert one of them with a flashlight, and all of them woke up, and all of them kind of like definitely didn't do single file line kind of thing out the door. I mean, they bomb rushed the whole team. But I was thinking, I've never done that before. I've been trying to figure out how to do it, but I haven't played it since Xbox 360, of course. So,
Yeah, actually, the trade-in value for that is still pretty well. It's still doing really well.
really?
Yeah, I think I traded it in. What was it like? Sometime last year, and I think I got like $20 still for it.
Holy crap.
Yeah, like the trade-in was really good for
I need
that.
some extra money.
Um, well, or it's one of those things that you just hold on to. It just gains value. Like Valve did an amazing job with that game. Like, yeah, everyone's waiting for Half-Life 3, but everyone's also waiting for, Left 4 Dead 3, which of course with this promising it looks like the same exact game. Just different storyline. Um, but of course, going to our next topic is, of course, zombies. And I'm hoping you haven't seen this trailer. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, warning for anybody who doesn't like zombies, gore.
I don't. It's really disgusting. It bothers me.
Well, too bad. You're going to have to sit through it since you made me sit through the first game when I was younger. Yeah.
My bad.
All right.
Every story has a beginning.
I know this one.
discover the origin of evil.
Why are you back here, Claire? Your conspiracies weren't true when we were kids. They're not true now.
We need to expose Umbrella.
Watch this.
I'm afraid, Claire. I'm afraid of what they're gonna do to this town. You see, Umbrella, they had an incident. I'm talking Chernobyl, if you know what I mean. People are getting sick. You gotta help us, Claire. Let the world know what's really going on.
We have to contain this.
Shall we go?
What were Umbrella doing here?
This is where they're experimenting on him.
We should split up.
What the?
We gotta get out of here.
We're gonna take Umbrella down.
Yeah, I want to see that movie now.
So a little backstory on that. It is directed by Jones Roberts. He did the movie The Strangers Pray at Night, which is the second Strangers movie. He also did 47 Meters Down, which is the movie with what's her face, who did Mandy Moore, Mandy Moore is in it, where they're in the cage and we go see sharks, and the cage itself gets stuck down in the ocean, surrounded by one great white shark. Robbie Amell is Chris Redfield. Kea Scodelario. She's actually in the Maze Runner series, and she was the main star in Crawl, the movie with the alligator. She is Jill Redfield. So that's a little backstory on that. I, for one, am super excited. I remember my first experience with Resident Evil was down in Grandma's basement. And then, of course, was being played on a Mac. And during that time period, it was something I've never seen, but I was instantly hooked. Just the gameplay was amazing. I loved the second one. I loved the third one. And then I kind of fell off a little bit. I don't know why. I did play a little bit of Revelations, but then I went back right into it with 7 and 8, which, those are different than the first three. 7, I mean, it's more of a first person. 8 is more of similar to what I've heard is 4. But I, for one, am excited for this because, Mila Milokovic, I believe is how you pronounce her last name, did an amazing job in the original ones. And of course, you have Michelle Rodriguez also in the first Resident Evil movie. But this just looks so much more towards the game base, which is something that, I really wanted in the first movie to begin with.
I agree.
And plus, apparently, that it jumps from the first game and the second game and a little. I don't know if it jumps to the third game. I mean, I would like to say so, but I'm not quite too sure. But also, it has a scientist from the second one. It has the twins, who plays a key part in the later in the games that you see in the trailer too. On top of that, too, I believe, and I can be mistaken, but the guy who plays Wesker is the older brother from the Umbrella Academy from the Netflix series. He
Mhm.
looks just like him. I can be completely wrong, but it looks like him. And then that guy, of course, he was the guy in Gotham. He played in Ghost Rider as Nicolas Cage's best friend that ends up dying. So that's that actor as well. So it's not filled with like well-known actors, mm, but actors that everybody has seen and come to like as well.
I
Any
agree.
thoughts?
No, I mean, other than you having all the actor down pat stuff, and who's playing who, I like Resident Evil. Like, it doesn't really matter who's really playing them because I go into every single movie going, oh, look, it's a title I'm familiar with. Let's try to watch this one. I don't. I mean, other than the Mila chick, she's hot. The only movie I consistently watch just because of the hot chick, not because of the storyline, is Underworld. Kate Beckinsale. Sorry.
Mhm.
I'm sold. And I'm not even a brunette kind of guy. But it's just I love her accent. I love who she is. So if they took her out of that movie, I think that'd be like the first movie I would not watch because of the name. But I'm
Mhm.
telling you, Resident Evil, as soon as it started, I was like, yep, Resident Evil. Love it already. Don't even need to see the preview.
Mm-mm. Like I just hope it does it justice. Like you have Sonic the Hedgehog that when the first trailer released, like the internet were bullies and they bullied a production company. They bullied a production company in order to make him look right. Cost them millions of dollars to make Sonic look right, but they did it. And that movie is great. Like my wife and
Well, it's
I,
probably great because they changed it.
I mean, true.
I
I
mean,
mean,
if they changed it, there's a reason why they changed it. Because I mean, okay, so yeah, millions of dollars. Shame on them for not doing their research and trying to make him look more realistic. I mean, crap, same thing can go to Woody Woodpecker. Nobody knows Woody Woodpecker, growing up other than the people who grew up with Woody Woodpecker. So when that movie came out, all these kids are going crazy, going, "Oh, I love that Woody Woodpecker." Oh, now the parents is like, "You want to see what I grew up with? Let me show you a cartoon." They're like, "Yeah, that looks cheesy." They grew up on the movie Woody Woodpecker. Same thing would have happened with Sonic, but you had a bigger fan base with Sonic because Sonic was not only a cartoon, but it was a video game. It was like the establishment of Sega,
mhm.
so people who had Sega knew what Sonic looked like. So smart move on their choice to change it because if that movie would have flopped, I mean, would they have made just as much money to let it flop as if they fixed it? You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
probably either broke even now versus losing money, or they did make something.
Yeah, and the other thing too is from apparently what they try to do is they try to make it a lot like Pokemon Detective Pikachu,
Yeah.
where it made it realistic. And that see that's the thing though is like Detective Pokemon or Detective Pikachu, sorry, made the ability to make the cartoon of Pokemon to real life, and you can actually do that because you can kind of make them look like animals. I mean, Sonic is the same way, but there's certain characteristics that you cannot leave out that Detective Pikachu didn't leave out. They left each character, yeah, they made them look realistic, but every key fabric of what that character is, they kept physically. And they didn't do that with Sonic. They didn't have like the white around his face a lot, or they didn't. I don't even think they had the gloves really. I
Okay,
mean, I
so
could be
Sonic the
mistaken, but
movie,
still.
correct me if I'm wrong, really didn't go with the game at all.
Uh, no, not really. I mean, it had Robotnik to it, and as a villain, which is great. But even so, like it didn't, it didn't really have to go with it as long as it kept its core elements to it and
Okay, so the
core
same can be
characters. It
said
was
by
good.
any of the beginning movies that came out for the MCU.
And, yeah,
Okay, and I'm not trying to start an argument because I know Mr. MCU is sitting over there with the red baseball cap backwards. I get it, but I'm just saying, like, look at the X-Men when it
hmm
first launched compared towards the end. And
hmm
now their critics are saying the X-Men has done a better job of keeping more realistic story-based concepts and the team together than the MCU.
I
And that's a
mean,
tough one for me. And I'm not an MCU fan, But when you're talking movies, like I say, I go into a movie and I look at the title and go, oh, I know that movie. But if you think about it, I feel X-Men, look at how they introduced Nightcrawler. It wasn't like a whole freaking movie around Nightcrawler. It wasn't. It wasn't a whole freaking movie around Wolverine when the movies first started coming out. It wasn't. So then they threw a whole separate movie in there called Wolverine. Right?
That did
So
terrible.
it's kind of like, the way that X-Men has created their movies, they made it closer to a so-called comic book layout going, here's the deal. Here's this. Here's this. Here's this. Oh, wait, we need to throw another episode out there for a story. Not like freaking Endgame in MCU where it's like, oh, let me go back and discuss this whole story about these two characters and why it's so important.
But see,
Should
like
have
with
done that in something completely different.
Endgame though, it did do something different though. Like with Endgame, it couldn't base on its actual specific characters. Endgame had to focus on like the whole Infinity Saga, like Infinity War, and then Endgame. It was Infinity War was primarily basis around Thanos. It was the
And
villain,
Infinity War was the shit. Hands
and
down, the shit. You want to know why? Because it's one of the first movies that ever came out that was going around the villain storyline. But the villain didn't have to go too much into story. You want to know why? Because Thanos did something, pissed off some Avengers. Avengers came in, bam, fighting scene. Thanos came back, did something else. Avengers got pissed off, attacked, fighting scene. Then, as the movie gradually came to a conclusion, Thanos started getting his story in there. Why he killed certain people. Flashback of a story. End of story, fighting scene. Endgame was kind of like, to me, now keep in mind how I think. I see Endgame, I'm thinking, great. I'm going to see the Avengers kick Thanos' ass. This is going to be fantastic. Very first, 15 minutes? Avengers did that. Chopped off his head. And all of a sudden, now a whole story had to rewind. Okay, now I have to reprogram my brain because I want to see action. Oh, wait, let's discuss more story. No. You guys did this wrong. Like, to me, I personally did not like Endgame at all. I
see
bought
that
it on HD 4K. Haven't watched it since. I watched
see
it one
that's
time.
that's where I would have to professionally and politely disagree as far as X-Men and MCU, and only because of this. You had X-Men, 2000s movie, fantastic for the time, especially with the downfall of like Blade and stuff like that. And then, of course, you had X-Men United, great movie. Third, no. First Class, better. And then from that point, it just went down, 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 down. The lowest movie that Marvel has had. Um, I honestly want to say, and it's still like millions of dollars, is I can't remember if it's either Black Widow or if it's Ant-Man. But even so, like they were scheduled to tank. But even so, though, like with every Marvel MCU movie, it's just you know it has a better character development. I guess it's
Okay,
because there's so many
so
movies.
Mr. MCU, how I was talking about X-Men. Okay, I do agree with some of your statements there. X-Men 2000, X-Men 2, 2003, X-Men Last Stand 2006, X-Men Origins, kind of iffy 2009, X-Men First Class, okay, so they're bringing back some of the younger generation 2011. Then, okay, let's go to a whole different story. Wolverine 2013. Now you get the ones where people question. And I'm getting to a point so we can move on. X-Men Days of Future Past.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was iffy. I really didn't like it. Then considered in part of the X-Men movies was Deadpool, 2016. So it rised. Then 2016, get this. X-Men Apocalypse, 2016. Why is that date important? Because if you watch that movie, people compare that movie to Avengers Endgame. Time out, people. Avengers Endgame didn't come out until 2019. What did you just say, Lee? Yes, X-Men Apocalypse came out in 2016 Endgame 2019. So where's your argument that X-Men hasn't been doing it correctly?
Storyline.
Correct. They have set up their story correct ever since 2000.
No,
Now,
I'm saying
take it for
X-Men
granted.
storyline.
Well, I'm just saying,
not
take
good.
it for granted. Take it for granted. With Avengers, you have a lot more characters, and they all came separate. X-Men has always been together, hence the name X-Men. X-Men is kind of like Avengers, but the movie started off with X-Men, so it's not like, they had to build each story until the Avengers came out. Does that make sense?
It
So
does.
I'm just saying, people who give credit to Endgame but don't give credit to X-Men might want to reevaluate the whole Apocalypse movie that came out in 2016. If you say you don't like X-Men Apocalypse, please enlighten me why. Because if you liked Endgame is like freaking 4 hours long compared to Apocalypse being 2 and didn't have as much of a storyline. And I know we're eating up our time in the 1990s, and I'm okay if we do another show for the 1990s, but you're hitting a very touchy topic for me because being Lee the original, when I watch a movie based off a name, not based off of actors, actresses, storyline. I watch a movie because of a movie. And that's why you and I love talking to each other and arguing for fun because you, my friend, know a lot more shit about movies than I'll ever do. But I'm telling you, I've watched X-Men Apocalypse and I still say that's a phenomenal movie. And that movie got shit for reviews.
Well, with this, of course, we can always subject a special show all around this. Um, so then that way we can, of course, discuss this because I'm pretty sure like this can actually be a whole show all on its own.
Oh, it's
And if
already turned into it, man. We've already been here for 43 minutes. That means we have like 15 minutes to break down the 1990s. That's not fair to the 1990s.
oh no, we got it. And if we have to go over just a little bit, it'll be fine. Like it's fine. But if you want to see, of course, Marvel, us debate it, leave a comment, follow us, do what you have to. Because this it's a whole show all on its own. But with that, what we'll do is we'll hop in the time machine and go back in time. And of course, as you can see, it is 1990. And with the segment, of course, we will go over the top TV shows, top cartoons, the one toy, because again, just like the 80s, it was very difficult just to find the list for that specific year, as every resource that we went to was specific to the 80s and not 1980. Same thing. It went to the 90s and just not 1990. So I'll go ahead and start off with the top toy, which was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was the top selling toy of 1990. Lee, did you want to kick us off with the top TV shows?
No, not right offhand. Once
Kind of
again,
caught you
I
off
did
guard.
not come prepared. I was trying to find that email that you sent me, and I cannot find it.
That's okay. So the top TV shows for that year of 1990s. First one was Cheers. Again, for another week. Number 2 is 60 Minutes. Number 3 is Roseanne. 4 is A Different World, and number 5 is Cosby Show. Of course, Roseanne and Cosby Show currently is not a good look for TV, but back in the day, it was big. Cheers. I'm good that we got Woody Harrelson onto that, and I've actually dined at the Cheers bar and location over at Boston. Beautiful place. But of course, Woody Harrelson is probably the biggest name that I know that came from there.
Who was the tall guy? The brunette guy?
Uh, that I'm actually not quite sure.
Okay, well, I'll Google that while you continue the show.
Okay. So of course, kind of speedballing here just because of the fact of time frame. Top cartoons for the 1990s, and again, just like the previous one, this one we actually got from Wikipedia. Unfortunately, they didn't have a set list throughout the websites and resources that we looked, so we went by the years that it was available plus the episodes. So number 1 was Captain Planet and the Planeteers. It spanned from 1990 to 1996 with a 116 episode run. Next one is Tiny Toon Adventures from 90 to 95 with 98 episode run. Number 3 is Bobby's World. That went from 1990 to 1995 with an 81 episode run. Number 3, I actually never heard of, but I guess it was around for 65 episodes. From 1990 to 1991 was Peter Pan and the Pirates. Again,
I
never heard
remember
of.
that one.
I don't remember it at
If
all.
I'm not mistaken, that was like a kids show.
Probably.
Like,
I mean, it was a cartoon.
yeah, like really, really kiddie show.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, like I don't remember that. Out of all of them so far, I remember the top 3. The next one that you'll remember though, number 5, spanning 65 episodes from 1990 to 1991, was The New Adventures of He-Man.
Yep, I remember that. Okay, so Peter Pan and the Pirates, it has animation similar to Land of what is it? Land Before
Before
Time.
Time?
Yeah, it has animation similar to that. And I mean, there's a lot of TV shows back then that did, but that's probably what it's been known for. I
Okay.
remember that one.
Yeah, I remember Captain Planet. That
Oh,
was a big one that I watched a lot.
and really quick, Cheers.
Mhm.
I know you said Woody Harrelson, but let's not discredit some of the others by any
Oh no.
means. Kirstie Alley,
Okay. Yep.
amazing person. Um, Norm, well, he went by Norm. That's George Wendt. He was really popular, and you can never ever forget these next 3. Shelley Long, who played Money Pit with Tom Hanks. Ted Danson, which was that brunette
Yep.
guy, and get this, Kelsey Grammer. He played a
Ah,
character in Cheers called Frasier.
yeah, because it was a spin-off that ended up being its own
Yes.
show. Yes. Yes.
See, I
It's
might come
just
unprepared for like immediate answers, but God bless it, I know my info.
yeah, I remember Cheers. Unfortunately, my parents didn't watch a lot of it, but from what I've seen, I do remember some of it. Um, I mean, it's definitely a classic. It's definitely one of those that has had an impact on the world today. Um, of course, Kirstie Alley. Nowadays, it's having issues.
It's sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. I'm trying to keep my mic quiet. So like if I hit it, you hear it vibrate. But I was putting my hand over it, but when I let go,
Yeah.
I'm literally letting go and it makes a guitar sound. So I'm like trying to stop it while you're talking. And I'm starting to laugh. I'm like, man, I'm doing the complete opposite of what I'm trying to accomplish. But anywho, sorry.
So
Go back
yeah,
to what
like
you were saying.
I was just saying, like Kirstie Alley is like very similar to a lot of the artists that ended up happening, which is kind of sad. She's not very well liked anymore. Um, just for I don't know why we have to hate people on like different viewpoints. But that is one of the major ones, which is viewpoints. Like I'm not one to judge on people's viewpoints, just because everyone's human, everyone has their own viewpoints.
Okay,
Let
let's go
humans
with
be
that
humans,
whole
but
viewpoint thing. So there's 2 different ways you can look at it. If society is looking at, let's say that you're popular and you're very well known for, let's say, a children's book, okay, and you played the voice of a children's cartoon, you're known as that voice,
Mhm.
similar to Aladdin is probably always going to be known as Robin Williams.
You mean Genie?
Yeah, sorry, Genie. So
Aladdin was a dude from Full House.
yeah, well, you knew what I was talking about. So Robin Williams and Genie, right? So if majority of people really knew who Robin Williams were or was at that time, he was a very dirty comedian.
Yeah.
But he never broadcasted it. He never advertised that he was a dirty comedian. He just did his stuff, acted, did everything he needed to do. Then unfortunately we lost him. He committed suicide for
Yeah.
depression. And that is a very touchy topic for me because I've known a lot of people who's gone through depression themselves. And it's a disease that's invisible that nobody can see. And sometimes people go, why? Now you go towards Kirstie Alley, where if she's expressing herself, there's 2 different ways she can do it. Is she expressing herself for the role model that people looked up for her, or is she expressing herself for her title and her popularity? If it's her title and popularity she's shooting for, that's why people don't like her. Because she's using her popularity to go, hey, you guys know me, similar to when actors, football players, and them break the law. Hey, do you even know who I am? I don't care. You were speeding, you're going to get a ticket. Well, you don't even know who I am. No, Tom Brady, I know who you are. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't put them on a pedestal better than you and I. And I
Right.
think a lot of these actors and actresses, and I don't know about the Kirstie Alley thing, but there's quite a few that I've known
It
that
was
has used their
political.
title to try to influence people the wrong way.
Yeah, it was just her political view because Hollywood is a lot of like Democratic. There are a few Republicans on there, respectfully, but Hollywood's very Democratic, and it was just a lot of her viewpoints on the Republican side that got her kind of canned. But to
Really?
go back to yeah, but to go back to Robin Williams, on top of the whole depression thing, reason why he got depression, and I just looked up the disease because I couldn't think about it, was he actually had Lewy body dementia. So that's an actual type of dementia that kind of it sucks because of the fact that you cannot control your emotions. So like going with like the whole depression thing, like there were many times throughout him going through Lewy body dementia, and they didn't actually know that until he died. But he was diagnosed, he knew about it, and with that, there's times where he would tell his wife that he wished that he would reset his brain, or that he could reset his brain. So it's really sad in that aspect. But let's, of course, take away all this sadness and go to, of course, the Billboard music charts of 1990. Uh, number one was "Hold On" by Wilson Phillips. A great song. I love that song. Um, "Nothing Compares to You" by Sin. You're gonna hate me for butchering this. Sinead O'Connor. Sinead O'Connor.
What was the name
Uh,
of the song?
"Nothing Compares to You." Three is "Poison" by Belle Biv DeVoe. Number four, shockingly, thought this would be number one. It was "Vogue" by Madonna. And I mean, as long as I can remember, number five is "Your Love Interest," which is "Vision of Love" by Mariah Carey.
Sorry. Great song.
So, yeah, absolutely. Like, none of those songs that I've never heard of. Obviously, again, "Hold On." I love that song. I actually have it in a creative playlist as well. Whenever I like write screenplays or just do anything in Photoshop or design work, I have a creative playlist, and that's actually one of them because it's just a motivational song. Going back to the, of course, sadness part of it, but like it's uplifting is to better say of all the songs, and of course Vogue with Madonna. I mean, there's no denying on how even great that song is and how well Madonna was and still is back then until today too.
Yep.
All right. So that actually completes the year of 1990. Now we go into our little segment of the year, which is Sell Me the Movie.
Hello there, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children.
So, kind of to continue the list of top five, yeah, Sell Me a Movie is, we're selling a movie from 1990. Though some of the movies that were in the charts during that year was Driving Miss Daisy. I thought that came out actually earlier. Apparently not. It actually came out in 1990. Problem Child, Back to the Future Part 2, and Edward Scissorhands as well. Those movies didn't actually gross the top five. Some of the movies that actually did gross the top five is first one was Ghost. Second one was Ghost with 217 million. Pretty Woman with 178 million. Home Alone, I thought it was later in the 90s. I guess it was 1990 with 285. TMNT, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, with 135 million. And then number five was Hunt for Red October with 122 million.
Yep. Oh, is it my turn for something?
Uh, no, I was just getting our timer ready. So with that, Lee, did you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go first this time. I've always gone first.
All right. Just going to switch screens.
Sell me a movie.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Having a little bit of difficulty here. All right. Let's switch. Oh no, I can't switch myself. There we go. Okay, much better. All right. And in 3, 2. All right. So in today's episode of Sell Me the Movie, I actually went with the 1990s classic, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I thought you were going to grab. So I'm glad that, this is mine. It was directed by Steve Barron. Of course, you have Judith Hogue. She actually played April O'Neil, who was in Halloween Town, a Disney Channel movie, as well as Armageddon, that starred Ben Affleck and a lot of many other actors. Of course, it also has Mr. Diehard himself, and then of course it also had, shockingly, I didn't know this, Corey Feldman, who voiced Donatello as well. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course, based on the comic book. It was a very adult comic book when it came out. It was inspiration came from the Daredevil series from Marvel Comics. That's kind of where you get the ooze, or TGIF, I believe is what it was. TGRI. I'm sorry, TGRI. And of course, that's the ooze that creates the turtles. Very action packed, very loving. Again, a lot of the turtles and the story basis was created with the inspiration of Daredevil. That's where you get the ooze, because the same ooze that creates the turtles actually gave Daredevil his, I guess, blindness, but also his superpower to be able to see as well, I guess. But again, very action packed, very lovable type of movie. It still holds up till today. One of those movies that you definitely want to show your kids, as far as, hey, look at what mommy or daddy grew up with. Look what we love. Just kind of like share that family bondmanship. Though it's kind of like on the darker side from the cartoons, which is, of course, it projected from the cartoons itself as far as popularity goes and everything. Because first it started with the comic books, then it led to toys and the cartoon, and then blasted off to the movie, and now look where it is now. So why not, if you're interested in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now and today's with the cartoons and the movies that are out now, then why not go back to 1990 and watch the original movie that came out that just sparked so many people to love and to kind of relate, say Cowabunga, Tubular, the whole Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go. I mean, that song couldn't have started without that movie. So I would say go back, watch it. You'll love it. If you've never seen it, where have you been? It's definitely one of those movies that is an instant classic and should be recognized as a movie that should be saved for all eternity. And that's me. That's done.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is definitely a classic. Can't take that away.
Mm-mm. No, not at all. And of course, it's just one of those things that we grew up on, and a lot of people our age grew up on as well. And like, it did really well for the time. And shockingly enough, it wasn't supposed to be doing that well. They projected it to maybe reach the I guess the focal point of, like, yeah, it's not going to make that enough money, but as long as we can, make a little bit more than what we spent, it'd be great. But instead, it just skyrocketed. It did so much better than what people thought. And I realized I'm still trying to sell this movie without a timer, so I will shut up now because it is your turn.
You're not going to beat me this time. Just not.
No, you don't think so?
Nope.
All
So
right,
you tell me when you're ready.
All right, countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So my movie that I picked was an astounding surprise to everybody, apparently, but I decided to go with the one and only Pretty Woman. Why did I go to Pretty Woman? Oh, let's start with who it's directed by. Let me go with what Todd normally does. Gary Marshall? Wait, Gary Marshall? Who is that? Like, where did he come from? Oh, wait. He contributed in movies of Pretty Woman, New Year's Eve, Never Been Kissed, in A League of Their Own. So, I mean, right then and there's a name that has brought us amazing movies to begin with. Now let's go to the actors base since you like to hit actors. In Pretty Woman, you have Julia Roberts, Richard Gere, and then Jason Alexander. I'm sure all those names sound familiar. Jason Alexander was pretty much known for Seinfeld, Coneheads, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Then you have Richard Gere. Like, please, if nobody knows that, he was in Chicago, Pretty Woman, Jackal, Runaway Bride. Then you have Julia Roberts. And if you don't know Julia Roberts, you just might as well log off because this whole show is probably boring to you anyway. But Pretty Woman, Aaron Brockovich, Closer, My Best Friend's Wedding. Now let's go with a name that you guys have not heard, but you should hear of him, and it's James Patrick Stewart. He is well known for the movie Gettysburg. He was also in the TV sitcom ABC by All My Children. So the reason why I'm going actor base and I'm not normally actor base, since it's half my time, is I get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has set society up for cowabunga and all that crap, but think of all those popular people that have influenced us, not just with their one movie in Pretty Woman, but all the other things that they have done in their career. Come on, Jason Alexander, Seinfeld. How many people quote Seinfeld? Done. Over. I mean, Seinfeld is probably one of the more popular comedy TV shows. Then you have Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. Like, come on. I mean, how many movies have they been in that people don't know? Pretty Woman started a classic tradition of top actors being in a great movie with a great storyline about a stripper ends up meeting a rich guy. The rich guy was just hiring her just for business needs, nothing for like, or the prostitution thing had nothing to do with that. He just wanted company. And it turned into a comedy with your typical love story. And honestly, I'm not much into the whole romantic thing, but that movie had me laugh quite a bit. And there's a lot of adult scenes in there. I don't recommend having little people watch because if they're anywhere halfway intelligent, they'll pick up what is happening. But if you don't own it, pick up a copy of Pretty Woman and watch it way before Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Done.
All right. All right. So it looks like, both of us finished before the time actually ended. That was good. That was good. I did not expect you to go with my route and actually go with the director and actors and stuff. So I got you. I got you now.
Well, you want to know what's funny? I wasn't expecting you to pick Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and go my route. Like, that was my direction. I was going to take Pretty Woman. Then I heard you do that shit. I'm like, you know what? And while you were talking, I'm Googling all the freaking cast members of Pretty Woman. I'm like, I got your shit right here, dude. Bring it on. I got you.
Well, the thing is too is like one thing that we try to do on the show, of course, is pick a movie that we haven't seen, so then that way we could try to sell it, like 9 to 5, like the last one that we did with Peter. Like 9 to 5, I've never seen, and I enjoyed it and I liked it. So it gives us the opportunity to watch a movie that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes with years like this, like we've seen all the movies. The Hunt for Red October with Sean Connery, and then of course you have like you said, Pretty Woman, and then Ghost. I mean, everybody wants to have Patrick Swayze to help them make a little, clay pottery, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have all these movies that we've already seen before. So why not just go with something, of course, that we love and enjoy? And the reason why I thought that you were going to go with TMNT was because of, growing up, you've always had the toys and the cards and everything like that. So that's why it was a shocker because I was gearing up to watch or go back to, I should say, Ghost. Like Ghost was probably going to be my number two. And then I don't know, maybe Home Alone would have been number three, but like Pretty Woman, I was not expecting you to pick. So I applaud you on that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Like, and when I picked it, I'll be real. Even my wife, she was just like, "What movie did you pick?" I said, "Pretty Woman." She was like, "What?" I said, "Pretty Woman," and she was like, "Oh." And meanwhile, I'm like going through Netflix. I'm going through that, and for some reason, I was trying to find The Hunt for Red October first because I've always wanted to see that movie and I couldn't find it for free. And no offense, I love you to death, but I'm not gonna pay like $5 to rent a movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. And then I was like, well, Pretty Woman's on the list. I'm like, maybe I can find that. And just as I went looking for it, my wife goes, we own the Platinum DVD. Do you want to watch it on DVD? And I'm like, hell yeah, let's watch it. DVD. Like going old school with DVD too, not even on Blu-ray or digital. DVD. No commercials, no pausing because the internet goes down, straight playing a movie. It was great.
Yeah, and fun fact, the first movie to ever hit DVD was the movie Twister.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't
that
know
was
that.
the very first movie to ever hit DVD platform.
Nice.
Fun fact. So yeah, with that, of course, you let us know who won. Which movie do you prefer, Pretty Woman or TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Which one do you like? Have more nostalgia towards? Of course, yes, you do have Sandra Bullock, but I mean, who doesn't like pizza and turtles? I mean, come on.
Wait, Sandra Bullock
Yeah, Sandra Bullock.
in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, I'm Pretty Woman, dude.
No, that was Julia Roberts.
Oh shit! So then I already lost already. So, you know, yeah.
Wait, I can't drop my mic, but I can mute my mic so you can't hear me. There, see, I muted my mic. There.
Okay, fine. Julia Roberts. So let us know who won on that battle. Obviously, you know, I can't really decide for you, but you let us know. Comment below, follow us, like us, share us, because as much supports, of course, we do these shows weekly. Again, it starts to be on Thursday. Next week, unfortunately, I will not be on the show as I will be on vacation with family. However, Lee is running the show with a special guest, so stay tuned to see exactly who will be on the show with him as a co-host for during that time. But again, uh, hit that like button. Let us know what random year you would like us to choose our number one top box office for the 5 pick. And if you are an independent movie producer, we'd love to interview you, whether if you are on Amazon or, you know, in general. We'd love to talk to you, sit down with you, and talk about your film. But with that, we wish you a good night.